I'm very happy to be back. Motherhood is extremely rewarding and fulfilling, but I did miss my individual self as well. So I was eager to get back to work. And now that I am, it's the best of both worlds. Also the stress of both worlds, but I'm still happy.
So after your career break, did you face any challenges in getting placed again?
Initially, I did. I think there was, some doubt on both sides. So I had the doubt that can I really go back to work or not? And on, the companies that I was talking to, they were doubtful that, hey, can you really start working with such a young baby at home? Very valid concerns, but I was lucky that I could fall back on my business school alumni. I reached out to them and, I saw an opportunity in their organizations, and they were kind enough to, have an initial conversation with me. When we found a mutual fit, then we went into the formal interview process as well. That's how I ultimately ended up, getting back to work, and extremely grateful for that.
Very cool. When did you decide and when did you know that you had to study abroad?
So I think for me, this goes way long, back into high school.
Really?
When I was in 10th and 12th. So until 10th, I was a bit clueless about what I wanted to do. 11th and 12th, when you start giving it a bit more serious thought, hey, what am I going to do after my board exams? That's when I initially thought about studying abroad. But it wasn't a very concrete plan or idea in my head. So I just went with it. I gave it my best shot at the board exams, ended up getting into SRCC. And at that point in time, that made the most sense. So I went along with it. But towards the end of my bachelor's program, I found out about the summer school program at the London School of Economics. And that made me curious once again. So I really wanted to try it out, just go and explore, what education is like abroad. And that's when I applied to the summer school program, got in, had an amazing experience, realized that, the learning methodology followed there is something more suitable for me. In India, this was 10, 12 years ago, even more now, I'm a bit old. But, back then, at least schooling was still more traditional in India. Even in SRCC, it's more, traditional lecture format and professors really guiding you through everything, where students are following. But at LSE, what I experienced was that the professors were the guides, and really the class, the students were the one who were leading the study material. They were coming prepared to classes, they had cases to discuss, and we had interesting conversations amongst ourselves, obviously guided by the professor. And I found that for me personally, that was a better learning methodology. So that's when I finally decided that, hey, at some point, maybe not immediately after LSE, but at some point I do want to study abroad and experience that fully.
So just touching on that summer program, what was that about? What was the topic there?
Sure. So the London School of Economics has a summer school program with a wide range of diploma or certificate courses that you can choose from across multiple disciplines. So I went and did a certification in strategic management. At that point, that was something that I was interested in learning more about. And I had a profile that was suitable for that certification as well. So the application process was, quite straightforward because it is a summer school program. So obviously not as competitive as, the full-time programs that they have. And having finished my high school, done my bachelor's, I had to apply with my grades and transcripts. I had to fill out some, statement of purpose, a very simple essay. And that was all the screening that was done for the summer school program.
Got it. But it's a nice trailer to have for your real application yet to come.
Exactly, absolutely. And it is, you get a taste of not just what the class is going to be like, the classroom environment, but you get a taste of like the student body, you get a taste of the social, scene at LSE and in the middle of London. So I think as a 20-year-old, that was an experience that helped me just beyond, academics also.
So what happened after the certification, the summer school program?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I went to the summer school when I was just graduating from my bachelor's at SRCC. And I did participate in the on-campus placements as well. So I ended up getting an offer from Deloitte for their audit practice at that time. So I had a decision to make again, do I pursue further education or do I, start working and get some experience over there? What really changed for me at that point was my conversation with one of the directors at Deloitte. So I had no idea what audit was about.
Yeah.
So I naturally asked him, hey, like, what is audit all about? And he put it very simply. He said, audit is about keeping businesses honest.
Yeah.
So that was something so interesting for me because, on a values level, that's something something that I relate to,
yeah.
or, something that I believe in. And at that point, I thought that, getting work experience before going for a master's program would be also a good thing, because then I can contribute better in my classes and I can learn better also with that experience behind me.
And was that something you picked up at your summer school? Did you have people with experience in the summer school?
Not so many, but I did get to interact with students at LSE who were enrolled in full-time programs.
Yeah.
So summer school is mostly, as you said, it's like a teaser for students who are looking to study over there. But the full-time students are also on the same campus.
Right.
You bump into them in the hostel. So I had a lot of interesting conversations with them also, and they definitely had the advice that if you can get some work experience before pursuing a master's, it is definitely better for our own growth and learning.
Got it. And how long did you stay at Deloitte? Because it's one of the top firms in the world. Big Four, whatnot. How was the experience? How long was your stay?
Yeah, so what I thought would be 1 or 2 years of experience ended up being 9 years in a very rewarding and fulfilling career that I had with them. So every year at Deloitte was different for me. I had the opportunity to work on audits of clients across a wide range of industries. So I worked on real estate, retail, manufacturing. I worked across geographies. I had clients based in the US, in the UK, some other European countries, Australia at a point as well. And that is what really kept me engaged. The other thing that really helped me, stay over there is, 3 years in, I decided to get the US CPA certification. And that was obviously sponsored by Deloitte, but completely relevant for what I was doing.
Yeah.
I loved the work. So it just made a lot of sense for me to, go and, take the exams for the CPA. And that, to an extent, at least satiated my desire to go back to studies and continue to learn and grow on that front. I've always enjoyed studying, so that is what really kept me there.
Got it. And is that a reason why? Because your ambition to study abroad sort of seeded in 2012,
Yes.
right? But the actual studying abroad didn't start for 10 years.
Yes.
So was that the reason that kept you?
Absolutely. I felt like, as I said, because each year was so different for me over there, I felt like I was learning and growing. I also had international work experience with Deloitte. So I initially started at their Gurgaon office, but then I did a 3-year secondment with Deloitte Luxembourg. So that sort of, again, helped me just get that international experience that I was looking for and that international working environment that I was looking for. Wonderful experience. When I returned from there, I felt, like I had connected with a lot of people from different cultures around the world. And I had grown as an individual also, because this was the first time I was living away from home. So figuring a lot of things out on by myself. And these were the experiences that really kept me at Deloitte for so long.
Yeah, right. So how did you decide on ESE, and especially how did you decide on Spain?
Sure. So as I said, this seed of wanting to study abroad was, is very old for me. And when I decided that, hey, maybe it's time to, shift gears and explore a different side to my career, I had everything at Deloitte. I had zero complaints, but after 9 years, I just, again felt like I wanted to do more and do something different. So that is when I decided to go back to business school. I did want to go to the Ivy Leagues, a personal ambition of mine. And I wanted to challenge myself that I can target such, well-reputed schools. But having stayed in Europe before with Deloitte Luxembourg, I think created a bias in me for Europe. I felt like I was more comfortable in that environment. I had experienced the culture. so I would settle in very well.
Yeah.
Also, the second reason was that, most MBA programs in the US, the Ivy Leagues also, are 2-year programs. And at this point, I was already married. So again, a tough decision to, take 2 years off and study on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So Europe just became the natural choice due to its obviously, excellent programs in business schools, completely at par with the Ivy League, but also shorter MBA programs that I could target.
Makes sense. And how did you choose on Spain and ESE? Or was that one of the several schools you applied to?
It was one of the several schools I applied to. So I targeted all the top schools in Europe. So INSEAD, IMD, SEA Bocconi, Oxford, Cambridge, and also ESE. So when I got the admission offer from them, it was just a natural choice for me because ESE at that time was the most well-ranked school.
Yeah. Ranked 1 in FT 2022 or 2021?
2022, yes. So I was very happy to have that offer. I felt like, I had achieved that personal dream of mine to be able to apply and get through such an excellent program. And Spain, I had obviously traveled to Spain before. So I was aware of, or I was comfortable with the culture there. I think Spanish people, especially in Barcelona, are extremely welcoming, extremely warm. They have a very strong sense of community. They spend their evenings with their friends and families. They enjoy good food, something very similar to India and our culture. So I just felt like, it would be a wonderful place to live in and, explore over there.